second, all over the internet, something strange is happening. AI agents, little software robots, are visiting websites by the millions. And for the first time, some of them are being asked to pay before they can get in. In July 2026, Cloudflare, a company that quietly powers a huge slice of the internet, launched something called the Monetization Gateway. Think of it as a toll booth built specifically for robots. In this video, we are breaking down exactly how this new system works, why it is happening right now, and what it means for the future of the web. By the end, you will understand a massive shift in how the internet makes money, one that almost nobody outside the tech world is talking about. Let's get into it, and welcome to the AI with Arun Show. For 30 years, the internet ran on one simple deal. Humans look at stuff, and companies make money from that attention. You browse a page, you see an ad, maybe you sign up for a subscription, maybe you buy something. That whole system depends on a human sitting there, scrolling, thinking, and deciding. But now AI agents are doing the browsing instead. When a shopping assistant AI checks prices for you, it does not look at banner ads. When a research agent reads 10 articles, it does not sign up for a newsletter. It just grabs the information it needs and leaves immediately. That breaks the entire foundation of how websites have made money since the 1990s. This is the core problem the rest of this video is about. How does the web make money when its visitors are not human anymore? Before we get to the fix, let's look at why investors are nervous. CoreWeave, a company that rents out AI computing power. It went public in March 2025 at $40 a share, raising about $1.5 billion. And stock eventually tripled, pushing its value to around $50 billion by mid-2026. Sounds great, right? But here is the twist. Even after CoreWeave reported over $2 billion in quarterly revenue, 112% from the year before, its stock still got sold off hard. Why? Because investors are starting to doubt whether spending billions on physical AI hardware actually pays for itself. The market is sending a clear message: stop just building bigger data centers and start proving that AI can generate real, repeatable, transaction-based revenue. That pressure is exactly what is pushing companies towards the technology we are about to explain. Now, here is a number that might shock you. As of July 2026, more than half of all traffic on the entire web is not human. It's bots, crawlers, and AI agents, and there is a serious imbalance hiding inside those numbers. Research shows that AI crawlers can hit a single website anywhere from hundreds to tens of thousands of times. For every one human visitor, that website actually gets sent back in return. Picture a small blog. An AI company's crawler might scrape that blog's articles thousands of times to train its model, but almost no human ever clicks through to actually visit the blog itself. The blog owner pays for the servers, the bandwidth, and the electricity and gets almost nothing back. Content creators and data providers are essentially footing the bill for the entire AI industry's infrastructure for free. That imbalance is the business problem Cloudflare is trying to solve. So who is stepping in to fix this? Cloudflare. You may not have heard of them, but Cloudflare sits in front of a massive portion of the world's websites, protecting them from attacks and speeding them up. Historically, their job was like a bouncer at a club, blocking bad traffic like cyber attacks and malicious bots, and letting good traffic go through. In July 2025, they took a first step towards monetization with a feature called Pay Per, which lets websites charge AI crawlers per visit. But it had two big problems. First, it used normal payment systems like Stripe, and those charges flat fees, which makes sense for a $20 purchase, but makes no sense for a payment worth a tenth of a cent. Second, it only worked for search and training crawlers, not for the full range of AI agents now roaming the web. Cloudflare needs something much bigger. The bigger solution is the Monetization Gateway, launched on July 1st, 2026. Here is the key idea. Instead of a website's own server having to handle payments, Cloudflare handles the entire payment handshake at the edge, meaning at data centers spread across more than 330 cities worldwide, as close as possible to whosoever is making the request. This matters for two reasons. First, it's much faster since the payment check happens near the visitor instead of all the way at the origin server. Second, it protects the website's own server from ever being hit by traffic that has not paid. Website owners set up their pricing rules using a simple system similar to Cloudflare's existing tools, and they can manage it through a dashboard, an API, or Terraform, which is a tool developers use to manage infrastructure as code. In short, payment rules become just another setting like a firewall rule. So, what can a website actually charge for? Cloudflare built in five flexible pricing models. One called charges, like a flat tenth of a cent every time an agent hits a certain web page. Two, per unit data pricing, charging based on how many megabytes get uploaded or downloaded, useful for bandwidth heavy content. Three, variable task complexity pricing, where the price changes based on how much computing work is involved. For example, charging up to $2 for a demanding image generation task, more than for bigger jobs. Four, automated conversion of old style 401 error messages, which usually means you need to log in, into 402 payment required messages instead. So an agent can pay on the spot without needing a pre-shared password or an API key. And five, outcome-based fees, like charging 99 cents only when a support chatbot actually solves your problem. Together, these gives website owners a real toolbox for pricing machine traffic. This next part is important, and it is something most people outside the tech world don't know about yet. On July 1st, 2026, Cloudflare rolled out a system that automatically sorts incoming bots into three categories: search bots, agent bots, and screening bots. And by default, any Cloudflare protected website that runs advertising will now block both agent and training bots automatically. Cloudflare calls this the wall. It protects sites whose entire business model depends on humans seeing ads. But there is also a window built right next to the wall, the monetization gateway. If an AI agent wants past the wall, its builder can simply pay for access on a pay-per-use basis. So the message to AI companies is blunt. You either stay out or you pay your way in. This change, the simple change, quietly affects a huge chunk of the web. Starting on September 1st, 2026, the following default behaviors will automatically take effect for all new domains, newly added sites, and free tier users. Now, Cloudflare is not building this alone. This is really a whole new layer of the internet infrastructure, and it splits into three distinct jobs. Layer one is payment and settlement, figuring out the price and actually moving the money, handled by protocols called X402 and MPP, backed by Coinbase, Cloudflare, Stripe, and Tempo Labs. Layer 2 is authorization and audit, making sure the AI agent is actually allowed to spend this money, that it is staying within a budget a human set for it, and keeping a paper trail. This is led by Google and MasterCard. Layer 3 is identity and trust. Proving an agent is who it claims to be, so it can skip annoying captchas, led by Cloudflare, AWS, Google, and others. Think of it like a physical purchase. Layer 1 is the cash register. Layer 2 is your bank double checking the charge is really you. And layer 3 is your ID card. Beyond the big players, smaller startups are rushing in to solve very specific problems in this new machine economy. Take Circuit and Chisel. They built something called the Agent Transaction Protocol, designed to help AI agents actually navigate complicated website checkout pages and handle multi-step payments. The kind of thing that's easy for a human to click through, but genuinely hard for software to do reliably. Then there is Skyfire, which launched a system called Know Your Agent, or KYA. It uses something called JSON Web Tokens, basically small secure digital ID badges, to give each AI agent a verifiable identity that a website's servers can instantly read. That lets a merchant tell the difference between a legitimate paying AI agent and a malicious scraper trying to steal content, which lowers risk for everyone accepting machine traffic. Now let's get technical, because this next part is genuinely fascinating. Every time your browser loads a web page, it gets a numeric status code behind the scenes. You might know 404, meaning page not found. There is also a code called 402, which literally means payment required. It has been sitting in the official internet rulebook since the 1990s, completely unused, because there was never a good way to actually make a payment through it. In May 2025, engineers at Coinbase dusted it off and built a real protocol around it. It's called X402, and Cloudflare helped develop it further. It became such a big deal that in April 2026, Coinbase and Cloudflare handed control of it over to the Linux Foundation, creating a neutral governing body called the X402 Foundation. Its founding members include Stripe, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Basically, every major name in payments and tech all agreeing to build on the same standard. Now let's walk through an actual X402 payment because it is simpler than it sounds. Step 1, an AI agent sends a formal web request like give me a web page. Step 2, the server replies with a special 402 payment required code and attaches instructions, how much to pay and which digital wallet to send it to. Step 3, the agent's software automatically signs a payment using a cryptocurrency called USDC on a blockchain network called Base. Step 4, the agent resends its original request, this time attaching proof of that payment. Step 5, the server checks that proof is valid, and once it is confirmed, broadcasts the transaction to the blockchain to actually settle it. Step 6, the server finally responds with a normal 200 OK and hands over the content. All of this happens automatically in the background in a fraction of a second. No human ever sees a checkout page. Within X402, there are two different ways a payment can actually work. The first is called the exact scheme. This is for simple one-time fixed price purchases, like paying exactly 10 cents for a single article. The agent signs a transfer of that exact amount and it's done. This works across many blockchains, including Ethereum-style networks, Solana, and others. The second is called the Opto scheme, and it is built for ongoing usage-based situations. Think of streaming data or making lots of small requests in a row. Instead of paying upfront for all of them, the agent authorizes a maximum spending limit. Like you can charge me up to $5. Then the server tracks exactly how much the agent actually uses in real time and only charges the final real amount once the session ends. It's a difference between buying a single coffee and opening a bar tab. Now, here is a problem. Most websites have no idea how to talk to a blockchain directly. That is where something called a facilitator comes in. A facilitator is an optional helper service that sits in between the website and the blockchain, handling two jobs: checking that a payment signature is genuinely valid and then actually broadcasting that transaction to the blockchain network. Importantly, the facilitator never holds or controls anyone's money. It just pays a tiny gas fee, about a tenth of a cent per transaction, to get the payment recorded. Developers can even run their own facilitator using open source code deployed directly on Cloudflare's own servers. For a working website, this means a developer can add just a few lines of code using a tool called Hono middleware to instantly turn any web page into a paid agent-ready endpoint without ever writing a single line of blockchain code themselves. X402 isn't the only option out there. On March 18, 2026, Stripe and a company called Tempo Labs launched a rival and in some ways complementary standard called the Machine Payments Protocol, or MPP. The big difference is flexibility. While X402 is built specifically around cryptocurrency, MPP is designed to be payment method agnostic, meaning a single paid web page built with MPP could accept stablecoins, regular credit cards, Bitcoin through something called Lightning Network, or digital wallets like Apple Pay, all through the same system. MPP, Machines Payments Protocol, is also being formally proposed to the Internet Engineering Task Force, the organization that manages official Internet standards as a recognized authentication method. In short, X402 bets that everything on crypto rails, while MPP tries to be the universal adapter that works with whatever payment method a business already uses. MPP's Machine Payment Protocol process looks a lot like X402's, but it uses two more familiar web technology. Step 1, the agent requests a protected page. Step 2, the server responds with that same 402 code, but this time uses a standard web header www authenticate, the same technology your browser already uses for logins. Step 3, the agent fulfills the payment, maybe by signing a crypto transaction, paying an invoice, or using something called a shared payment token, which is Stripe's way of letting an AI agent use a credit card securely without ever seeing the actual card number. Step 4, the agent retries its request, attaching proof of payment in another standard header called authorization payment. And step 5, the server checks it and sends back the content along with the payment receipt header, basically a digital receipt. It is designed to feel like something web developers already understood, just extended to handle money. For situations where an agent needs to make thousands of tiny payments it really fast, like paying a fraction of a cent for every single word an AI agent model generates, MPP introduces something called a session. Its creators describe it as an OAuth for money. If you've ever clicked sign in with Google on an app, that is OAuth. You authorize the app once and it acts on your behalf after that. A session works the same way for spending. The agent gets approval for a maximum budget upfront, and then it can make thousands of rapid fire payments with almost no delay and no per transaction fee. Because those tiny payments are just tracked in a private ledger, not on the blockchain itself. Only when the session ends, then everything gets bundled into one single blockchain transaction. To help this catch on, Tempo Labs launched a directory of already integrated services, over 100 at launch, so agents can find and pay for what they need automatically. Now, here is why all of this matters so much financially. Whichever company controls the default currency of this new machine economy stands to make an enormous amount of money, because stablecoin issuers can earn interest on all the cash reserves backing their tokens. Cloudflare announced its own stablecoin called the Net Dollar back in September 2025, designed to be the default currency for edge-based agent payments. And two major companies, Coinbase and Zero Hash, have been fighting to become the official issuer of it. This is not a small deal. When news broke in March 2026 that this competition was heating up, Cloudflare's own stock price jumped up 6% in a single day. If Coinbase wins, expect the crypto-based X402 protocol to dominate. If Stripe or Tempo wins instead, expect MPP to take the lead. With the global stablecoin market projected to hit $1 trillion by 2030, this is a genuinely enormous price. Before any of these payments ever happen, a website needs to know, is this actually a legitimate AI agent or a scraper pretending to be one? That is the job of WebBot-O, a cryptographic identity system backed by Cloudflare, Google, Amazon, Akamai, and others. Here is how it works, step by step. First, whoever runs the AI agent generates a private digital key and publishes the matching public key at a known web address, almost like listing a business in a public directory. Second, every single request the agent sends gets digitally signed with that private key, plus extra details like a timestamp and a random code to stop anyone from copying and reusing an old signature. Third, when that signed request arrives, Cloudflare servers instantly look up the public key, check the signature is genuine, and only then let the request through. No annoying visual puzzle or captcha required for either side. Once a bot is verified, Cloudflare sorts it into a giant internal database called BotBase, which classifies every automated visitor by what it's actually doing. There are 5 categories: search bots that builds search indexes, agent bots doing tasks for a specific human, like a shopping comparison tool, trading bots pulling in huge amounts of data to train AI models, transact bots holding automatic purchases or bookings, and data collection bots scraping prices and market information. As of July 1st, 2026, Cloudflare added one more layer: the difference between direct access, meaning one specific agent, and intermediary access, meaning a big platform like a major AI provider, acting on behalf of thousands of different end users. This lets a website owner say, block this one abusive user, without blocking an entire trusted platform that thousands of legitimate people rely on. Now, this whole system is not perfect, and it is worth understanding the real risks. The first is about power and control. Most of these payments run on stablecoins like USDC, which are issued by centralized companies like Circle. That means those companies have a built-in ability to freeze funds in any digital wallet at any time for any reason they decide. So, if a gatekeeper like Cloudflare or a payment network like Stripe decides an AI agent's wallet looks suspicious or simply does not comply with the rules, that agent can be instantly cut off from browsing, researching, or buying anything across huge parts of the web. Critics argue this hands an enormous amount of censorship power to a small number of centralized companies, which runs directly against the original idea of an open, permissionless internet that anyone can freely access. It's a real tension between convenience and control. The second risk is more of a practical, almost funny. If it were not a serious problem, humans get tired, frustrated, or suspicious, and we stop clicking when something looks broken or expensive. AI agents don't. If an agent hits a broken link or a misconfigured page, it might just retry the exact same request over and over automatically, hundreds of times a minute. In a world where every single request can cost real money, that kind of glitch can drain an agent's entire budget in minutes, long before any human ever notices something went wrong. Imagine leaving your credit card on a vending machine that is stuck in a loop, charging you every second. Because of this, anyone building AI agents now has to add hard safety limits, strict spending caps, automatic rate limiting, and systems that pause and alert a human the moment something looks abnormal before real damage is done. The third risk is about fairness. All of this identity and verification infrastructure, publishing cryptographic keys, registering in trusted directories, maintaining WebBot-O signatures takes real engineering, time, and money. Big AI companies can easily afford that. A solo developer or a small research team often cannot. And because unverified anonymous traffic from data centers is now blocked by default on a growing share of ad supported websites, small independent developers can end up effectively locked out of large portions of the internet simply because they could not afford to get properly verified. At risks, concentrating access to data and content in the hands of a few large, well funded companies that can easily negotiate directly with gatekeepers like Cloudflare while independent builders and startups get pushed to the sidelines. It's an important reminder that new infrastructure, even when well intentioned, can quietly reshape who gets to compete. So let's zoom out. What we have just walked through is a fundamental rewiring of how the internet makes money. For almost 30 years, success online meant getting page views, ad impressions, and subscribers. In the world we are moving into, success will be measured by something completely different. How many tiny automated machine to machine payments a platform can capture, verify, and settle every single second at massive scale. The request itself, a simple web address being uploaded, is turning into both a transaction and a signed authenticated agreement, all happening in a fraction of a second. Companies like Cloudflare are not just hosting websites anymore. They are becoming something closer to banks, the central clearinghouses for an entirely new machine driven economy. Whether you are a creator, a developer, or just someone curious about where the internet is headed, this is a shift worth watching closely. If you have learned anything in this video, we request you to support our work by joining us as a member. All you have to do is click join right below this video. And please like, share, and subscribe to the AI with Arun Show. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.